Another random topic video for y'all. Today I want to talk to y'all about my football story. It started off when I was 7 years old. I was coming out of the Western Community Center where I grew up. It was a guy who was passing out flyers. This guy's name was Coach Ernest. If you're from Providence and you played in the inner city football league, you know Coach Ernest. So Coach Ernest, he's passing out flyers for football. And I remember when he first asked me, I'm walking out with my mom, leaving for the day, going home after school. He said, "Hey, you want to play football?" And immediately I'm thinking about the NFL and the players just crashing into each other, full tilt, full throttle, just going ham. And I'm only 7 years old, so I'm like, I ain't trying to get hurt. He goes, "Nah, it's flag football." So I said, "Oh, flag? Oh, okay, cool, I do it." So my mom signs me up, and now I'm playing flag football. Man, I'm definitely, to this day, I'm glad I signed up for that. I'm glad they let me know it was flag, and I'm glad I was the proper age to still be playing flag, because flag starts at like 6 years old, 6 and 7 year olds. So if I was like a year older, I would have had to play tackle and probably wouldn't have did it, but I'm glad I started off at flag. Yeah, so we having fun. And this is my first year playing organized football, so the learning curve was very wide. But I still got playing time. I played quarterback. I was third string, but it is what it is. And I played. I also played defense. As a cornerback, and the team had a great season. We only lost one game. And back in those days, I don't know if they still do that today, but we didn't have playoffs for whatever reason. But so the season just ended with us being 9-1, 7-1. Excuse me. It was like 8 games. Throughout the season, I just got better. I got incrementally better and better and better and better and better. And by the end of the season, I was one of the best players on the team. But again, this is in hindsight. I didn't realize it at the time. I did score a touchdown and an extra point, on the quarterback keeper. But so end of the season comes, the banquet rolls around. I grew up in the age of participation trophies. So, they're handing everyone their trophies. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I took no pride in getting something that everyone's getting. That's just me personally. Maybe a lot of the parents, they just wanted all their kids to feel happy or proud that they did something, but I took no pride in getting something that everyone's getting. It just ain't my my stilo. Then they start passing out the All-Star trophies. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything. I'm sitting there chilling, thinking that, again, it's my first year. Next year's gonna be a lot better. I'm gonna come back at it. As he's announcing the All-Star trophy, he said my name. And what's so funny was I literally was in such a state of, like, I really had zero expectation for getting anything past the participation trophy. I knew I wasn't the best player. That was my boy Eric. And even though I was on the field, I didn't see it as me being, even though I was getting better and better and better, but I figured by the end of the season, even though I was good, it was too little too late. But then again, my coach calls my name. I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I'm just looking at him like, what did he say? And he's looking at me, he's like, Kai, come here. I'm like, what? He called my name for real? So I get up and he hands me the All-Star trophy, and I'm just completely taken aback. Like, I wasn't expecting it at all. Everyone gets a participation trophy. Not everyone gets an All-Star trophy. So me, I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gassed. I'm like, oh, word. Oh yeah. I'm feeling myself now. I'm like, yeah, got a motherfucking All-Star trophy. You know what I'm saying? My boy Eric gets an MVP. Well-deserved, best player on the team. So now I'm feeling myself now. Like, I'm walking out of there with a little swag. Especially the fact that I didn't expect it. It meant that much more to me. It was the first trophy I ever got. Outside of that participation trophy that I didn't give a damn about. But you get what I'm saying. So now the next year, I'm amped for next year. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait till next year. I'm coming for that MVP. You know what I'm saying? But now the next year I'm 8 years old. So now I go to the C team, aka Pee Wee. In the preteen league, it's kind of like Pop Warner, but in the inner city. So we got different teams. It starts at flag. Back in those days, there was no junior Pee Wee. There's junior Pee Wee, aka the D team. There's Pee Wee, aka the C team. Junior varsity, aka the B team, and then there's varsity, aka the A team. So, there was no junior Pee Wee back then, so we just went straight from flag to the C team. And so now I'm thinking, again, if you've seen a couple of my other sports stories, you know that it don't take much to get me gassed up. So me getting an All-Star trophy, I was definitely feeling myself. So many people wanted to go out for C team, and not even that there was so many people, but the fact that we had no junior Pee Wee at that time, it was a lot of people trying to be on the team. 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, and 10-year-olds. Everyone wasn't going to make it. You had to make the team. But me and my thinking, I'm like, man, I'm an all-star. Of course I'm going to be on the team. Like, well, why would an all-star not make the team? Like, what kind of crazy nonsense is that? As we're practicing, we go through the tryouts, I'm slacking off. You know what I'm saying? My arrogance of making the All-Star trophy, of getting the All-Star trophy the year before, it caused me to slack off. And, as I'm running my laps, the coach even yelled at me during as I was running the lap.
Hey, you're not gonna make the team running like that.
I looked at this nigga, I'm like,
I'm an all-star, man. You must be crazy.
and I kept running exactly the way. I kept strolling like that, and he probably sitting there shaking his head like, man, he probably made his decision right then and there. I ain't putting this dude on my team. This dude don't care. I don't know what came over me, man. Like I said, that All-Star trophy really went to my head, so I just kept slacking off, and, I'm thinking, I'm me, man. Of course I'm getting on there. And by the time they started to cut people, they broke us down into 2 groups, and they told us, all right, the rest of you, go to practice. You guys, sorry, try it again next year. You didn't make it. And I'm sitting there just confused. I'm like, what?
What the fuck you mean I didn't make the team? Like,
It more so, it really confused me. Like, I really couldn't see it at the time, but I'm like, how could I not make the team? I'm an all-star. He must got me confused with somebody else. I'm a motherfucking all-star. Didn't make it, and rightfully so. That's when I kind of figured, I'm like, damn, man. Maybe I should have ran a little faster when he told me to, when I was jogging that lap. So now I don't know what to do. I'm like, what am I going to do all fall? I'm used to playing football. I want to play football. So, my mom kind of we drove around our neighborhood going to like the different football fields, and we found this other team, which was actually a lot closer to my house. The year before that, I lived in the West End area in Providence. The next year, I lived in the North End. So we found a team in the North End and they was practicing right up at Mount Pleasant High School on a football field. It's called the Daredevils. That team, you didn't have to make that team. You just signed up and went on it. And actually, that was Pop Warner. So the West End Intruders, where I played flag, that was preteen in the City League. Daredevils was Pop Warner. So I actually played a year of Pop Warner. I went from playing the quarterback to playing a lineman. I still didn't learn my lesson back then. I was still slacking off. I was still running slow. So they took me, this guy must be slow. So they didn't put me in a skill position. I ended up on the offensive line as a guard. And I wasn't really that big. It's not like I was a lot bigger than the other kids. I was probably like average height and ended up on a lineman. I started, but as a lineman. And I hated being a fucking lineman. I just did not give a damn. I didn't give my all. I had bad practice habits. I showed up for practice, but I got there. I didn't try too hard because I really just didn't want to do what they wanted me to do. I'm like, I don't want to be a guard. And even if I'm a guard, why do I have to run fast during? It's not like I need to improve my speed or anything like that. I'm a guard. The difference between the Intruders, they was one of the best teams in they won a championship like every year. Whereas the Daredevils, I don't even know if we won a game that year. If we did, we might have won one, which is like the last game of the year. It was just an all-around horrible year. And I remember another moment where it was like a kickoff return. So I'm chasing a guy who's he's running with the ball. So he got past everyone else, and I'm like the last line of defense. And I'm chasing him, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna catch this guy. So I slow down. I realized I wasn't gonna catch him. So I was like, hey, well, what's the point of chasing him? So I stopped. And when I got back to the sideline, the coach is like, what the hell was that, man? Why the hell did you stop running? I was like, I wasn't gonna catch him. The coach just shook his head. I'm like, hey, get out of my face. I clearly hadn't learned my lesson from Intruders. I just kept slacking off, kept BSing, and it was a BS season. It wasn't with any of my friends that I grew up with. I knew damn near everyone on the Intruders, whereas the Daredevils, I didn't know any of them guys. And the funny thing is, by the end of the season, that horrible season, we're playing a game of Muckle, and for those that don't know, Muckle's a game where it's like every man for themselves, tackle. No equipment, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? The coaches hated us playing it. They never wanted us to play it, but it was just a fun game that we always used to like to play. So we're playing Muckle, so I get the ball, and our coach is watching, and I'm like Barry Sanders out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm shaking everybody, shaking and baking everyone. He's seeing me do it. He's like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, man, I've been trying to tell y'all this shit the whole fucking time. He's like, man, I definitely want you to play running back next year. And I'm like, finally, you know what I'm saying? I'm finally going to get my chance to shine. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be scoring. I'm picturing it in my head. I'm like, man, I'm be scoring all these touchdowns. I'm going to just be, dancing in the end zone, or the cheerleaders going to be coming at me. It's going to be a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, I can't wait for next year. And then next year comes, and I went to the office. It was like the Pop Warner registration office, only to find out that the Daredevils, I guess they was going through money problems, and the Daredevils was no more. Right when I thought that I was going to be the star of the team, no go. They canceled the whole fucking team. I was just like, Are you kidding me? Like, this is just my luck. A couple days or weeks later, Coach Ernest, who's the flag football coach, he calls me again and says, hey, we're starting up a new team on the South Side. It's going to be called the Southside Saints. You interested in playing? So me, since the Daredevils was gone, I had nothing else to do. So I'm like, hell yeah. So, all right, so come through. Come to Davy Lopes. I go down to Davy Lopes, and it's like all the people who I play football with growing up. The same people that was on my flag team, everybody's there. And now I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is going to be fun. Now football is going to be fun again. And hopefully I'm going to get my chance to shine. And my boy Eric, he was there again. And my boy E. Jeff, he was a problem on it. He was usually the best player on the team every year. I didn't care. I knew what I was capable of. So I'm like, I was confident in my abilities. But then so the season starts, we start playing. And I think I must have been slacking off again because I ended up right on the offensive line as a guard once again. This time I'm like, and I wasn't too happy about that. But at least this time I was with all my friends, At least the mood was different. We had a lot of fun. I'm with my old coach and with all my friends. So the atmosphere was different. This time, I took it a lot better than I took it the last year. We had a lot of fun. I think we went like 5-2-1. 5 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. It was a good year. Had fun. Didn't get to start the way I wanted to. It was what it was. Then the next year, we moved up to B team. So now I'm moving up to different coaches. So now I'm excited again. I'm like, I can't wait for next year. Next year, I'm going to get my chance to shine. Because there's a whole set of new coaches. They don't know who we are. They don't know what position we played. Now I'm going to get my chance to finally play a skill position. I'm not playing the offensive line again. I'm going to get the ball. I was half right. I was still a lineman, but at least this time, I was a tight end. And I started as a safety. So now I'm starting offense, defense, kick return, and kicking team. So I'm never off the field. For reasons that I can't even recall outside of just that same lackadaisical attitude that I had, I start missing practice, not going to practice. I really can't remember why I didn't go to practice, but I think it was just me being lazy, feeling like, because I used to have to walk to practice. So I got to think, I'm walking from the north end of Providence all the way to like the south side or the west end, like classical. We used to practice on classical's field. Matter of fact, Central Field. We played games at Classical and we practiced on Central's field, Central High School. So, that was a pretty long walk, but I love football. So, and again, the Daredevils ain't there, which was right next to my house. I took the walk and it was probably a couple of days where I'm just like, man, I don't feel like walking all the way over there. And it's heavy ass equipment. I'm not doing that. By the time I came back, my position was gone. I still started as tight end, but I lost my position as safety. So I lost my defensive position. And then even when I did come back, my coach noticed the change in me. He's like, man, where's all that aggression you had for the first? I'm like, aggression? Me? Aggressive? I didn't really know what he was talking about. Back in those days, I wasn't very self-aware. I think I used to pay attention to everything except me. So I didn't even notice I had aggression. I'm like, I've never been accused of being aggressive. Maybe except certain moments. But in football, I didn't even see what he was talking about. That team, we weren't as good as we thought we were. We took a lot of. We weren't that bad. I don't think we was. I think it might have been one of my, outside of the year I had in Pop Warner with the Daredevils. That was my first losing year as on that level. In the preteen league, it was like my first losing year, and man, it just wasn't nothing to brag about. So we go through the year. It's whatever. Then the next year, I felt excited because I felt like, okay, now, even though I didn't get the ball last year, I was pretty much just a blocking tight end. Now, this is going to be different, Now I'm in like 8th grade. I'm back in my old my old middle school with my friends, and I'm bragging like nobody's business. I'm telling everyone, yeah, we're the best team. We're going to beat all you guys. You guys ain't messing with us. I'm talking all the trash in the world. Man, when we played my friend's team, we only played one of my friend's team. My other friend, he played for like the Cardinals. We never played them. But when we played the Intruders, my old team that we had came from, man, we got demolished. We even scrimmaged them early in the year. Got demolished again. We was just no match for them. They had the bomb squad back then, man. They had guys who could hit. Some of the strongest hitters in the world. I'm like, man, it was crazy. We got smashed, and me talking and my friend comes in and says in front of everyone, or in front of all my teammates, he goes, "Hey, is he good?" And quickly he goes, "No." One of my teammates goes, "No," but he can hit. So it wasn't all bad. He's, then when we I go back to school. They're telling everyone, it's like, your own teammate said you wasn't good. So. That's another little thing that they could make fun of me for, but I deserved it. I mean, I talk so much trash. It just was what it was. I ate it. It was whatever. So that season goes by, I mean, we had a pretty good season. We did a lot better than we did the year before. We had a winning season. We went to the playoffs, lost in the first round, unfortunately. So that year, I graduated middle school. I'm going to high school. My coach calls me once again, Coach Ernest, and this time he had left the Saints, with some disagreement with the guy with the other guy who started the organization. And this time he decides to go to a whole nother team, the Mount Hope Cowboys, the team we actually had lost to in the playoffs the year before. So me, I'm like, I'm gonna be in high school now. I'm good, man. I don't really want to play. He's like, you sure, man? We're gonna be good over there. And I was like, well, I'll think about it. I gave him that. So the funny thing is, I didn't realize that they practiced at the same place that we did, because back in the days, they practiced near the Peter Pan bus station. That's where the Mount Hope Cowboys used to practice. By the time I got in high school, I actually showed up on the first day with my mom, unfortunately. I showed up to play for my high school, Hope High School. But I had my mom with me. I really wish she would have stayed in the car or just got away. I should have went by myself, because when we got out there, I see Coach Ernest and the Mount Hope Cowboys football team and a few friends that he had recruited from the other football team. From the Saints. He sees me. He's like, hey, man, you decided to come out. And I'm like, no, I'm here to play for the high school. I didn't come here to play. I'm playing high school football. I don't give a damn about no preteen no more. Everyone, I can't make it to the NFL if I'm playing preteen. What's wrong with this guy? So then he sees my mom, and, he sees that I was serious about it. So he starts talking to my mom. He's like, look, you gonna let this guy go over here? Look at those guys. Look at, he chose one of the big linemen coming out. He pointed to one of he had to be offensive or defensive lineman on the high school team. And he goes, look at these guys. Look at your son. He's going to get hurt. You want him to go over there and get hurt? And he starts working on my mom. And then my mom's like, yeah, why don't you play over here? And I'm just like, oh my fucking goodness. I don't want to play here. And she's like, you're playing for your coach. That's it. That's the end of the discussion. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this guy. This guy, he was a major salesman. I got to say that. He was like a booster. Shout out to Coach Ernest, man. So now I'm back. I'm mad. I don't want to play for the damn Cowboys. I don't want to play preteen no more. I feel like I'm above that. I should be playing high school football. On top of that, one of the reasons he said, he was like, man, they suck. Hope High School is trash in football. Why would you want to go play there? And I'm like, hey, man, high school is high school. Even if I do good, maybe some other school will let me go over there and play for them. Wishful thinking. But again, now I'm stuck playing for the Cowboys. But on the bright side, a lot of my friends who I played football with damn near since flag football, Ernest had brought a lot of them to the Cowboys. So now I'm playing for the Cowboys, and it was going good at first until the guy who I don't remember his name. I think his name was George or some shit like that. So the guy who Coach Ernest and George who had started the Southside Saints together, he goes to the preteen commission, or the council or whatever, and he complains. He goes, yo, this guy took half my players. He took a lot of our players once he left and took them to this team. That's unfair. A lot of these guys are from the Southside neighborhood. They wouldn't have went to play for them if he hadn't convinced them to. So the commission said they would review it. So I'm like, hold up a second. We realized there was a chance that we wasn't even going to get to play. I'm like, hold up a second. Are you kidding me? When I didn't even want to play for the damn Cowboys or preteen at all to be. Now you want to tell me there's a chance that we might not even play because it was some violation for us to go from one team to another? It was almost like college, in college football or college sports at all. If you transfer schools, you have to sit out a year. I don't know why that's a rule, but it's a rule. And pretty much the same thing happened to us. It was, I don't even remember how far into the season we were, but eventually they just tell us that we can't play. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I done wasted all this time. The Hope High School team, they probably already got their starting lineups. Even if I did go play, I got to go sit on the bench. Then my mom had the nerve to sit there and say, oh, well, if you can't play there, go play for your high school. And I'm like, now I'm looking up like, are you serious? That's what I wanted to do in the first place. Now you want to sit there and try to tell, no, I'm not playing at all. Get on my face. I was Aggie that year. I wasn't feeling that shit at all. I'm like, now I'm going to have to sit the bench because I done missed a chunk of the season. I didn't play football at all that year. It pretty much was my first year not doing any kind of sport. I actually, I waited for basketball to come around, but didn't make the team. So, and then I wasn't playing no fucking baseball. And, my coach had told me about track, but I didn't really see, track, at that point in my life, I mean, track wasn't gone. It wasn't happening. So I didn't play sports at all that year. Matter of fact, the only sport I did play was I went to the rec league and I started playing like an in-house rec league for basketball. Hold on 1 second. It sounds like somebody at the door. All right, false alarm. Yeah, didn't play at all. Then the next year, my sophomore year in high school, Coach Ernest calls me again. And he's like, all right, man, you guys are clear this year. You guys can play now. And I'm like, is this guy, man, it's my sophomore year in high school. Like, why am I going to waste 2 years of my high school life playing fucking preteen league? I'm playing high school, though. I'm like, this time I was adamant. I'm like, yo, you're not talking to my mom again. That shit ain't happening. I'm not playing. No, thank you. He's like, man. And this guy, he started acting like, he started acting so, he was like, man.
After all I've done for you, I'm the first one who got you to play football. Hey, you gonna leave me hanging like that? Like, we need you. We got the tight end position right there for you. I mean...
And I'm just like, oh my goodness, man.
You gonna leave me hanging, baby?
And I'm just like, yeah. Man, this dude straight hung up on me. I was just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And this might have been like June, July. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking nothing of it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now that that's done with, I can focus on high school. I want to say as the days start getting closer, because preteen and high school starts pretty much around the same time, about August 1st. They both start having like training camp. So then Ernest called me again. I have been ducking his calls for like the whole summer. I've been ducking this dude's calls. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to hear it. He'll call my sister, but oh, it's Ernest. I'm like, I'm not here. And finally, this dude just caught me, man. He's like, man, yo, come on, man. You going? And I don't know. I always been a person that I found it hard to say no. So this time he got me on the phone. He was like, come on, man. Yo, we need you. We got the starting tight end for you. Like, come on now. And finally, I'm just like, man, all right, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? All right, man. And then he came over that same day, got all the paperwork signed, took care of it. And now I'm mad at myself. I'm like, how am I going to make it to the NFL now? But part of me didn't feel too bad about it because Hope High School did horrible. They was trash that, he was right about that. They was trash. So now I got a whole nother year of preteen. So, now I'm on the A team, and this is like my last year of eligibility. You can't play past, what was that, like 14, 15 years old? You can't play past there. At that point, you have to play for high school. And, Coach Ernest, he did his great recruiting abilities. I mean, this guy's, he should be at like a college program recruiting. This guy's one of the best recruiters in the state, man. Trust me. And he got the same group of guys who we all grew up with together, all playing football. He all got his same guys together, and we're playing another year of football. Now, this season, I'm like, man, I better get the ball. Oh, I'm going to march right over to that high school and start playing for Hope. I don't give a damn. He's like, yo, I got you, man. I got you. Now, this time, I remember this shit like it was yesterday. We're having practice, and I guess the kid who was playing center got hurt. So he got hurt for the season. So they were sitting there asking people, they're like, who's going to play center? Like, it was supposed to be temporary. He's like, yo, it's only temporary. You're going to play it. We just need you to snap a few balls for practice. Like, come on, guys. So they're trying to look around and see who wants to play it, who's going to, sacrifice themselves for the team. And nobody was saying anything. Everybody was just sitting there like, I ain't doing it. Now me, I figured I was already promised the starting tight end